Even if you believe in your heart of hearts that something is possible, you don't know for sure until you go out and do it. Several years ago, a friend and I went for an off-trail hike through the Lost Creek Wilderness area in Colorado. After 2.5 days, 24 miles, bushwhacking through soul-crushing aspen groves, heat stroke, dehydration, and a down climb that turned the pucker factor to 11, we finished the loop. Ever since that day, I've wondered if the same loop would be possible in under 12 hours. I believed it was. In my heart of hearts, I truly did. But you don't know for sure until you go out and do it. This is a story about getting out there and doing it, of committing to learning the lessons taught in the process, and of going full send, full bend. But the story doesn't start here. It starts shortly after the lockdown. Alright, good morning. It is 9:37 on Tuesday, May 12th, 2020. This is Horseshoe Mountain, the first of hopefully many mountains that I'll climb. Back in May, I set out on an adventure. My goal was to be in the mountains every single day, regardless of the conditions or how I was feeling, until I felt that I had had a full experience, and I felt content. I set out hoping to experience all that the mountains had to offer, including the euphoric highs, but perhaps more importantly, the really low lows. In order to have a little direction in my wanderings, I decided I would try to climb all of Colorado's 13,000-foot peaks as quickly as I could, and I aimed to complete the 637 peak list in only a single year. Immediately, I became obsessed with this 13ers list. A list that seemed beyond what a human could achieve in that time frame. But it was a list that to me, at that time, seemed like it was maybe only just beyond the line of possibility. Despite a lot of doubt by myself and others, I decided to commit to trying to complete this list in a year. And for the better part of a month, I was on pace to finish. Talk about a cool experience. Number 9, Mount Dyer. This morning starts with a beautiful bushwhack. Basically, crawl up the side of this mountain through the brush until tree line, and then it's easy. This is number 12, Gladstone. I think it's Gladstone Ridge. But number 15, Mount Kreutzer. So I'm not particularly proud of this, but I did run out of water, and there's water here, so it's like it's pretty damn good. I'm gonna have to just walk right through it, but I just don't know how deep it gets, so. Whee! Whee! Ah! Whee! Number 27, Mount Columbia. Woo! Boom. Oh, this is the face of a man who regrets these seconds of existence. But stoked still. Gotta stay stoked. Otherwise there's just no point, you know? If you ain't stoked, you shouldn't be doing it.
It's very early in the morning. It's very early.
Sunrise on number 34, Cottonwood Peak. Superb summit register find. I wonder what these things are, what these shrines are supposed to be. I don't know.
This whole 2 a.m. start thing really is really hard. It's just like, I mean, it's great because like I finished my day in like 6 hours, and it's only 9 in the morning, so I have all day to do nothing. I have all day to do nothing.
This is like easily 40 degrees. Wow. We got that. And then boom, 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 boom. A view of a lifetime. Whew. I might actually take a little sit down here and just enjoy the view, take off my jacket. That sounds, oh yeah, that sounds good. This is not as comfortable as it looked. It's 3 in the morning. I am now wide awake. Just like everyone in the morning wants to do, I was scanning the forest, saw some what looked like reflectors in the middle of the forest, which, surprise, they followed me. And so, yeah, it was like, it's a good shot of adrenaline to start the day. That's for sure. Oh yeah, that is blinding. Number 40, the big 40, Mount Marcy. Beep boom. Like a kid on Christmas Day. Oh, number 44, Mount Owen. Oh, boom. Zoom in that. That's pretty cool. I'm pretty cooked. We're not there yet. Whoa. Sufferfest. No joke. I've always been intrigued with how arbitrary the limits drawn by humanity are. To say someone will never achieve this, or that feat is impossible, that seems like a very closed-minded approach to life. Now obviously some feats will never happen. No one, or at least no human by our standard, will ever bike 60 miles in an hour or run a 1-hour marathon. But I found that ultra-endurance is a great equalizer. To summit less than 2 peaks per day on average for a full year doesn't seem unreasonable. Or to cover 24 miles in 12 hours, anywhere in Colorado, regardless of the terrain, that seems completely doable. Now sure, it might not be easy, but it's a far cry from impossible given a little bit of luck and the right conditions. Though I think when you're at the limit of what's considered possible, either by you or someone else, you do need that little bit of luck, and you do need the conditions to be right. Every time I've committed to a list, I've become obsessed with the numbers. Obsessed with hitting so many miles per day, climbing so many peaks, suffering for so many hours, all in a pursuit of a bigger, somehow more important number. I'm very fortunate in that I'm able to fully commit to this tunnel vision and ruthlessly pursue these far out goals, not having to worry about finances or commitments to anyone. But at the end of the day, I'm just pursuing a number. And in pursuit of that number, it's all too easy to lose sight of the bigger picture.
All right, so it's the second day of June. It's my dad's birthday. And it's like day 3 of this super weird funk that I'm experiencing right now. I feel like I just kind of want to throw up. And at any moment I might. And then like, I'm just exhausted. I'm just really tired. I just want to sleep, but I've slept so much in the last couple days. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's some kind of food thing or what, but it sucks. It's brutal. It's super brutal. I get into these modes of just thinking about the point of this thing, like of what I'm doing with my life. I feel like I don't have any future. I feel like it's just a dead end road for me, and that has been made very apparent by my choice to do this, because I had this wonderful relationship with this girl that I really cared about, and I threw that away to go do this totally selfish thing. And whether it was a serious thing or not, we were both under the perception that when we were both 60, we'd still be hanging out. And whether that was something that would ever happen or not is not really the point. But the point is that the thought was there. 40 years down the road, I was still gonna have this thing that I was able to do. There's like a future there. Even if it wasn't a serious future, there's still the thought of a future. And by ending that relationship, it's one of those like, you don't realize what you had until you lost it kind of things. But I had no idea that this would impact me so greatly. It's like just the idea of having something to live for in the future. It's like, because like, even if I do this thing, whenever I finish it, whether that be tomorrow or in a year, that's like it. I don't have anything after that. Like, where do I go from there? There's nothing. Like, there's no deeper meaning behind this. It's just like this stupid list of mountains that I've decided I'm going to climb in a short amount of time. And like, what is the point? It's just a weird place to be. It's just bizarre. Yeah, and not like a good bizarre, just like I feel like I feel like a failure. I feel like a dumbass. I feel like I've thrown away a lot to do this thing. I guess there's some self-discovery going on. As much as I hate to admit that, it's like, it's there. It's definitely there. All right, good morning. It is Tuesday, June 16th or 17th, somewhere in there.
which is a long time since I last climbed a beautiful pile of dirt or rocks, also known as a mountain, because I got Giardia. That was fun. Yeah, Giardia really floored me, man. Like, I got it, and I mean, I was out for 2 weeks. So I had to kind of reprioritize my life, which was fine, because like I was a little bit too dead set, I think, on just getting the numbers. As far as how I'm feeling, well, the explosiveness, we'll say, that is all done. Thankfully, I still get waves of nausea if I go too deep into like my head and to get too physical. So if I floor myself, I feel like I might puke a little bit. I'm obviously out of shape, which is why I'm breathing heavy on this flat road. And I'm just tired, man. I just feel still pretty exhausted. But anyways, the priorities are shifting away from getting the massive numbers of peaks, at least temporarily. And I'm gonna ease back into it because I've heard that's a good thing to do. Number 45, Mount Antero. It's hazy. That was a lot of work. Number 47, Mount Mama. So I'm between Mama and Boulder. I'm just coming downhill, and I just feel like I'm bonking. It's just perpetual exhaustion. It's... ugh, this view's pretty sick though. It's the bonk view right there. And I still gotta go up. This is like the lowest point. I'm not excited. I'm so not excited. Yeah, but I'm not gonna get off this mountain by sitting here, so I think I'll do Boulder. And then reassess the situation I'm currently in. 48, Boulder. Bonking on Boulder. That was up there with some of the stuff on Nolan's, as far as just grind. That was freaking miserable.
I've realized that while lists have their place, living independent of the numbers has brought me much more joy. The hardest part of Giardia wasn't the stomach issues. It wasn't the weeks of perpetual exhaustion or all the weight that I lost. The hardest part was letting go of the feeling that I needed to summit so many peaks per day to stay on pace, and ultimately make the decision to abandon this project that I had put a year of my life aside to pursue. Since then, I've tried to live independent of the numbers in other parts of my life. I'm very fortunate that time is rather meaningless to me. The day of the week is irrelevant. My net financial worth is just a number that doesn't dictate how I live my life. How many social media followers and likes I get doesn't control if I'm happy or not. While I do record my activities, miles, pace, and elevation gain are no longer on the forefront of my mind. To be able to be consciously ignorant of these numbers that control so many people's lives is simply blissful, and has reinforced another lesson. Before Giardia, while I was focused on the numbers, while I was obsessed with movement, I would convince myself that I was taking moments to appreciate the places my body had carried me. I would take minutes every now and again to stop and see what was going on around me. But seeing is not appreciating. Once I had finally accepted the 13ers were not going to happen, I began to take time to stop and appreciate, to feel the warmth of the sun on my skin, to look up at the stars in wonder, to listen to the leaves blow or the creek trickle, to ponder the life of a forest, to notice the intricate detail of the land around me, both big and small. Some people call it meditation. To me, taking a moment is simply snapping off the autopilot for a second, taking a brief moment to be actively engaged in your environment. It's become easier and easier to coast through life, keeping the autopilot on all the time and doing the quote-unquote daily grind. Regardless of what I do with my time on this planet, I know my life is going to be made up of many seemingly insignificant moments, and I've committed my life to taking those moments and appreciating more of them. So much of ultra endurance is just suffering. To me, suffering is knowing you need to keep going, despite an acute awareness that your body feels at, or in some cases, already past its pain limit. The physical suffering is dealing with the lactic acid buildup, the stomach problems, and the general fatigue. But the mental suffering of having to accept your current situation, regardless of how shit it may seem, and continue on, That's the hard part. At that breaking point, if you want to continue, you simply need to be content with the situation. Recognize the goods and the bads, accept that the situation is what it is, and just be content. That's how I push through. And pushing through that moment of pain is always worth it.
Gonna go do some scrambling in the mountains. Sick.
Although I've been pushing my body for years, Giardia taught me to look past what I thought were my limits, and to expand my definition of pain. It taught me I could go farther, faster, carrying only some food and water through the mountains, if I was only willing to suffer a little more. In a very real sense, it made me feel like part of the land, a cog in the system of nature and not some independent being.
So, I'm walking through this forest and across some grasslands, which was kind of crazy. Basically, I'm going down this basin, and right near the top, I spooked some elk, which scared the bejesus out of me. Because you're just going, and you don't expect there to be trampling happening, but that's how it works. So that was the first thing. I was standing in this basin up top. And I just stopped for a second and was I felt like something was watching me. and I got some shivers in my spine, and I was just there could totally be cougars out here. I would not be surprised at all. But I actually took my poles out as a defense mechanism, because I was I just had the spooks. It's been very intense following game trails. Every once in a while I feel like something's stalking me. I'm just following the water down the hill. It sounds ridiculous, and it kind of is, and it sounds kind of cliche, but it's this is totally what I want. Like, this experience of just being able to move fast in the mountains, like off trail, just being part, like experiencing the wilderness in full.
There are a lot of things that can be metaphors for life. Running, especially through the mountains, is a great example. There are obvious highs and lows. Problems arise, solutions are implemented. And at the end, there's a celebration of achievement, a close to a short chapter in life. Then tomorrow comes and you can do it all over again. I have found, in my experience, that if I'm not content in running, I won't run far. I feel that if I'm not content in life, I won't live fully. But what is living fully? Mastery is defined as the ability to have complete control of something. I have yet to master anything, but from my time in the mountains over the past several years, I've come to glimpse what a true mastery might feel like. To be able to go out and move amongst the land, having complete control over my mind and body, being acutely aware of my surroundings, and confident that I can handle any situation. That's my idea of mastery, and that's what I'm striving for in my life.
It is the 11th hour. I can see the trailhead though.
When I first hiked this loop all those years ago, I never would have imagined I would commit my life to pursuing challenges just like it. I would have questioned my sanity if I told my past self I would eventually go on to question where the line is drawn and try to push it out a little bit further, suffering ungodly amounts along the way. To be consciously ignorant of the numbers, whether that be finances or miles, would have seemed silly to me. I would have never believed the fullness that comes with appreciating the land around and trying to tread lightly on the world. I still haven't decided how I feel about getting Giardia, but I know that the roller coaster it caused unquestionably influenced my life. It caused me to abandon a dream that I set out to pursue, a dream that I had committed to, and a dream that I hoped would shape who I am for years to come. It taught me to suffer in ways I never thought about before, and it made me realize the fragility of my existence. It made me realize I can push through when things get hard, and it made me question what's important in my life. Although I don't think I fully appreciate it yet, I think Giardia was exactly what I set out to find at the start of this summer. It was a very low low that taught me to appreciate my existence even more, and that stoked my stoke for life. Overall, it was something that made me want to continue to go full send, even if that means occasionally going full bend.
And here we find Jake in his natural habitat. The Wild West of Wham Ridge. Ridge. Wham. So much wham. To Jake's mother, I'd just like to say that this is definitely steeper than it looks in the camera. But it's chill. It's chill.
Standing right.
Yeah, he's still standing. It's not that bad.